Hi gorgeous, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. My name is HollyLynora and today we're gonna learn how to do a flawless, perfect base. We are gonna talk skin and how to make it airbrushed and flawless in person, in pictures, all of the above. So stay tuned, take some notes, do what you gotta do. We gonna learn today. Okay, so let's just hop right into it. I have washed my face and I have primed and moisturized with one of my favorites. This is the NYX Bear With Me Daily Moisturizing Primer, and it has an SPF of 30. So I really like this one. It is drugstore. Everything will be linked down below for you. So, and you can also check out my storefront, which I will also link down below. So you'll have access to all the products if you're interested. Also, this is the most important tip that I can actually give you if you take anything away from this video. Wash your face. And I don't mean that like in an ugly way. You know, people are like, well, duh, but it's, I mean, you'd be surprised. People want this airbrushed, flawless looking face, but they don't start with a clean slate. So you know, like what, I can't fix that. I can't help you. You've got to start with a clean base and then work your way up. If your skin is dry, if it has product buildup on it, your makeup's not gonna lay as smooth and as airbrushed as you want it to, as I'm gonna show you how to do. So start with a clean base, moisturize. Don't forget your SPF. We've done all that. And I'm going to start in with a primer. I've been loving this one lately. If you've been watching me, you already know this is from Gwen Stefani's new brand. This is the Give All-Time Prime Multi-Use Prep and Smooth Face Oil. Now, everybody's skin is different. If you have super oily skin, you know, to each his own. I love this product. It's literally a very lightweight facial oil. And I'm going to use about, I don't know, 3 to 4 drops. 4 it is. I'm gonna start under my eyes and ever so lightly make sure it goes all over my skin, under my chin, my neck, my forehead. This is such a good primer. One of the reasons why it's absolutely my favorite is the foundation application is so easy once you have this part. Like, it just glides on, melts into your skin. Like, this primer is everything to me. Everything to me. What did I do before this primer? It lays down so smooth. It's gorgeous. Gorge. Next, what I'm gonna do, like I just said, everybody has different skin. So you may do this, you may not. You may use 2 different primers. You may just be set with one basic standard primer. I'm going to go in with the Tarte Timeless, smoothing primer, Timeless Smoothing Primer. And it literally looks like this. I'm literally going to take just a small amount and put it on my upper lip area and right beside my nostrils, because that's the most porous area on my skin. Of course, it's going to be different for yours, but you just got to know your skin. I'm going to take just a little bit, 1 finger, like hardly any at all, barely any, and just kind of tap it and push it in. I love this primer because it's going to blur and smooth things over, which is exactly why I'm putting it on my most porous areas. Start with a little, you can add more if you want. So this has vitamin E, vitamin C, it has mineral pigments, which is what's going to soften your skin and give it that blurred look. This primer is also great if you do have oily skin and you don't want to use a facial oil. This one is perfect. Less expensive option is the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. There's a lot of different variations of that one, and it's really good primer. Honestly, don't know why I don't use that one more often. Whoops. So I'm going to go in with the Yummy Skin from Danessa Myricks. This one is in the shade 9N. And I love this primer because foundation because it is so skin-like. The glide on, like the way it just glides on your skin and melts right into your skin is absolutely, it's like magic. I'm literally going to use, like, less is more nowadays when it comes to makeup. It used to be just load your face down. But now less is more. So I'm going to go in with a pea-size amount. That's literally what it tells us to go in with. You can tell it's not a whipped formula. It's not super liquidy. It's just a very nice on the thicker side, but it's not thick. I'm going to take a foundation brush. This is the MAC 170, and I'm just gonna plop it right in. I'm gonna start at the center of my face and kind of place, and then work my way out. Right now I'm literally just picking up from the back of my hand and placing it all over the face with my brush. Don't forget your neck. Literally just all we've done is place the foundation. So you can see all the different spots. And now I'm not swirling. I'm literally buffing it. I'm not gonna get too close to my under eyes, or I'm not gonna fill it all the way up to my under eyes. You can see there's still purple and discoloration because we're gonna use concealer for that instead of adding on top of. We're just gonna use the concealer and rely on the concealer to cover it all. I'm literally just pushing everything into the skin. Bringing it down, of course. Please don't forget that. I have forgotten it a time or two, and it is not fun when you get in the car and you look, oh my gosh, and it's too late to go back home and fix it. Whatever. You live and you learn. Getting your ears, of course, back to the forehead. And notice I haven't done my brows yet. I never do my brows first. I don't know how some people do it. Like, what? What are you doing? And I'm not saying it's wrong. It's just like my way of doing it. I couldn't. So you can literally see that is all we used. This foundation is a Yummy Skin serum. So it has a glow to it. It has a shine. I'm trying to think of a good matte one right now, but I can't think of one off the top of my head. I'm horrible, I know. I'm so sorry. So once it is placed and you have done all the buffing that you think needs to be done, and you can see like things still poke through. This is not a full coverage, but it is definitely buildable. So you could full coverage it if you wanted to. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a wet beauty blender and just go over. There's a hair on my face. Got it. Okay, good. I'm just gonna go over and push into the skin once again. And what this is gonna do is get rid of any lines that the brush may have caused. And it's also gonna pick up any excess. And I'm gonna move it into the hairline. So that way if you decide to wear your hair back, slick pony, whatever, you don't have like a blinding white scalp and beautiful dark, you know, tan skin. Okay, so this is us thus far with primer and foundation. We went in with a brush, we used a pea-size amount, and we went in with a beauty blender just to smooth things over so we can really achieve that airbrush flawless looking skin. Okay, so now let's go in with concealer, cover up this purple discoloration underneath my eyes. I'm gonna go in with the Revlon Candid Concealer. This one is in the shade Bisque. One of my favorites. It's drugstore, it's inexpensive, it blends like a dream. It's got a doe foot applicator, and once again, less is more. I'm literally getting underneath my eye, and I'm gonna snatch it up so we can snatch our skin, snatch our face, look as snatched as possible. Literally like that. A little on the nose to do some brightening, and a little on the forehead. I'm still hitting all the spots that I used to. I'm just not using near as much product on those spots. So now I'm gonna take my Huda Beauty, this is the Face Sculpt and Shade dual-ended brush. This side is good for concealer. It is dense, aka there's not a lot of movement in the bristles. It's not fluffy like this one. And I'm going to start pressing and moving the product exactly where I want it. And you'll see that this Revlon concealer blends like a dream. Once again, I'm literally pressing. I am not swooping, swirling, moving product. you want to press it in so that way you don't mess with the makeup underneath your foundation that you just laid down. So we're just pressing it, blending everything together. Same thing on this side. I like this concealer also because it doesn't dry down super fast. So you have time to move it and to place it exactly where you want. Put it on your lid because concealer is a really good eyeshadow primer. If you don't want to go out and buy a separate one, just use your concealer. I don't know how trendy brightening your T-zone still is, but I think that's something that I will always do just because it adds such a beautiful dimension to your face. It makes everyone look less, you know, flat, one note, and it just gives your face more shape. You can add bronzer and blush, and that of course is going to create shape as well, but the brightening of the face really helps with creating more shadows, and it just changes. It takes your makeup game from B level to an A+. You know, it's just a simple little trick to do. I'm a huge fan of brightening, so I'm actually going to go in with this Dior. This is their newest concealer, the Dior Backstage Flash Perfector Concealer, and it's much brighter than the Revlon. So this was in the shade OW, and it's a brush applicator, but I'm literally going to take a dot, which I could have done on top of the Revlon before I blended everything, but I forgot. So, sorry. And I'm going to press that in as well. So that way we've got brightening and then it kind of ombres out. It might sound crazy, but just trust the process. And I'm not going to bring this as far out as I did the Revlon concealer. We don't want to cover it. We're just brightening more and bringing it out to create that ombre effect. So, and literally, once again, every single motion you saw me do is a pushing motion, pushing it into the skin, buffing it into the skin, not swiping or swirling. And once again, I am going to take a beauty blender and push in to get rid of any excess, and smooth everything out. So now our concealer's on, we have more dimension, less one note, and everything still looks very natural, very skin-like, glowy, dewy, plump, juicy skin. That's what we have right now. So now to continue on, we're gonna go in with a cream bronzer. This is the Chanel Healthy Glow Bronze. This one is in the shade Tan Deep Bronze. So now I'm going to go in with a definitely dense brush. Please don't try this with a puffy powder brush. If it is big and puffy like this, no ma'am, put it down, put the brush down, okay? This is the Sephora 70 brush. You can see very short bristles, compact, dense, and I'm literally, this product is expensive. It's a $50 bronzer. I'm using it as a contour, but a little bit does go a long way. Literally, I'm going to pick up product. You can see how deep dark that is, and I'm going to go, that was really aggressive, don't take your bronzer or your contour and put it too low. I remember we used to put it like right here at your tragus and bring it to the corner of your lip. I feel like that's still too low. I mean, that's just a personal opinion. So I bring it to the top of my ear, right where my ear starts, and I literally am placing the product, and I can feel my bone. I'm not even in the hollow of my face yet, but I go down right underneath my cheekbone. And you can see how well another product where less is more, another technique where less is more. Bronzer used to be like the thing. Bronze your face, change your whole race with the amount of bronzers that you, with the amount of bronzing that you do. But now it's just, everything's more minimal, and I'm here for it. I like it. So I start small, I pick up more if I want to, but you can see how nicely, I mean, I personally think this is worth the money. A little goes a long way. You've got a lot of product in here, and it is a really beautiful, healthy, glowing product. If you do bring it too low, you can clean it up. That's exactly what we're gonna do. So right now we're just concerned with placing it and making sure everything blended out and looks very nicely, and that we have a chiseled face. Now to bronze underneath. This has been a big deal for me lately because I feel like I don't blend it enough. So what I've been doing and what I've learned that really helps is if you make a kissy face, it brings forth your skin and your jaw. And that's where you need to place, that's where and when you need to place your contour for underneath your chin and right around that jawline. So kind of like when you're applying blush. And that also gets rid of the line. Look at the difference. And forehead, it all depends on how you feel, what you think you should do with your forehead. Mine, I'm honestly content with, I'm not like, oh, I have the best spot. Like, no, I'm just saying some people think their forehead's too small, so they want to elongate it, and some people think their forehead is too large, so they want to shorten it. If you want to shorten your forehead, you need to take your bronzer all the way across. That's going to create that shadow that stops the elongation, if you will. If you want to make it bigger, you're going to go on each side and kind of, I guess you would say, catty corner your bronzer. And so it's going to be like this, and you're going to leave the middle space open so that you don't have anything, a shadow stopping the height of your forehead. If that makes, it's all an illusion, dear. If that makes any sense. What I do is I just kind of tight line it on my hair just to bronze it. I'm not trying to create a shape. I'm just putting bronzer on my forehead. Getting close to the hairline, pushing it in. This brush is amazing. Once again, it's the Sephora 70. Making sure we are good and blended. If your makeup isn't blended on your forehead, that's one of the first things people notice. So look from far away, look from up close. I probably look like a lunatic in the mirror when I'm doing makeup, after, when I think I'm finished. Like, I mean, I'm looking at all angles just to make sure that, you know, the lighting isn't kind of misconstruing what I actually look like. I just make sure from every angle possible. I'm gonna go ahead and go in with this side, top of the ear, place. One thing that's really helped me on my makeup career, makeup journey, is to place first and then start going in and buffing. So like if that would have been too much product, if I would have first placed it and it was like super dark and like that's a lot of product that's on this brush, I would have went in somewhere else and placed it there. But it just kind of gives me an idea of how much is left on that brush before I keep going and then I have too much contour on my cheek. You can always add more, but it is super hard to take away. And we'll clean that up. Huge difference. Now what I'm going to do is sharpen my nose a little bit. I don't do much to my nose. Some people can completely, like, they'll just change the entire shape. If that's you, go for it, my friend, but I'm not. Some people just don't like their noses, so they want to change the shape. Go for it. Me, I literally, this is the Urban Decay. Oh my gosh, it's so old. It has wiped off. Urban Decay has really good brushes. This is what it looks like, but I couldn't tell you what kind it is. And I'm going to go on each side of my nose, place the product, I'm gonna buff it out, make sure there's no harsh lines. Don't forget the tip. So I'm literally just going around the sides of my nose, just like so. And then I'm gonna take a small pointy brush. This is the Morphe M431. It's just a small smudge brush. And I'm going to take the tip into this bronzer. And to create a pointy nose, I'm literally going to go in and do a circle right on the point and blend it out. And that's going to give you just the cutest little button nose. And if you want to make sure everything's blended and you don't have any harsh lines, just go in with your beauty blender and It'll smooth things over for you. Lightly press so you don't move any product. And the last thing that I'm gonna do with this cream bronzer is one of my favorite makeup tips, tricks, hacks of all time. I've been doing this for years. Go in with a little bit. Make sure it's super blended. And this is going to create a shadow underneath your bottom lip, which is going to give the illusion that your lip is poutier than it actually is. So one of my favorite makeup hacks, just make sure, I mean, the whole key to looking naturally snatched is to make sure that everything's blended and you want that airbrush flawless look. I'm gonna go in with a cream blush. This is from LYS and it is the shade Kindness. I love this because it's just that perfect amount of poppiness. It's kind of peachy corally, not too pinky. I'm going to take a dense brush and just kind of pop it in. Pick up a little bit. Smile to show the cheekbones. And I go in a circle. I'm bringing it up. We're always moving up so we can have everything lifted and look snatched at all times. Start with a little and add more product if you'd like. See, it just adds enough poppiness to look like a nice natural blush. Notice I have used nothing but cream products. Okay, that's pretty important to note, especially for the next step. Circle and bring it up. And you can always pop some on your nose. That's kind of trendy, but make sure if you've done your nose contour or if you do one, just to tap it and don't, you know, move everything that we just did. Okay, now onward march. Let's keep it pushing. I am very content with how this looks. We look glowy, we look dewy, we have a nice chiseled face, shadows to mention. This is where, if you want that airbrush flawless look, this is where you need to pay attention. I'm gonna go in with the Givenchy Prism Libre setting powder. This is the loose setting powder. Another good one is the Huda Beauty loose setting powder. That's like a tried and true. Every beauty influencer, every person that messes with makeup has dealt with that product, I promise you. I don't like using the puffs that they come with. I have this from Beauty Blender and it's just, I mean, you slide your fingers in and it picks up so well and it places well. How you place this is really where the airbrush is going to come into effect. I'm just shaking this. I'm gonna pick up powder. You're gonna make sure that everything is placed where you want it to be. If there's creasing in if your concealer has set in your fine lines or whatever, pat that out with your Beauty Blender and fix it, and then go in and we're just going to set ever so gently. I'm gonna leave that there and just let it bake, let it cook. Anything, or you can always pick up wherever you tend to get the most oily or your makeup tends to break up the quickest, or you know, your problem area. Go ahead and place it there. Typically it's everyone's T-zone, not everyone, but typically that area is the T-zone. So I'm just gonna go ahead and place powder in that area, in those areas. Once again, you see I am placing. I'm not smudging or swirling. Literally just placing the product where it needs to be. We're gonna take a brush later and get off the excess, so don't worry, trust the process. We're looking a little crazy now, but that's all right. Okay, so we're gonna let that chill. I'm actually gonna go in with this from Patrick Starr. This is the One Size Turn Up the Base Versatile Foundation Powder in the shade Light 4. Has golden undertones in here. It's like a light golden is what it says on the package. And I'm gonna go in with this same little pocket puff and pick up product. And just wherever you see fit, you're gonna shape everything up. See, that color works really well with keeping it natural, if you will. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in with powder products, you absolutely can say, Holly, we've done enough, okay? Face looks good, let's go. Because you can see the contour, you can see our blush. Like, we have a nice, clean, sharp, good looking skin. We have a good base. You can go onto the eyes or brows or whatever you want to do. But since this is a like beat your face video, I want to give you all the tips and tricks that I know. So I'm gonna go in with the powder products now. Now that everything's set, we've got shape and shadow and dimension to our face. We're gonna follow the shapes and shadows that we have created, and I'm going to go in with a powder bronzer. This is the butter bronzer from Physicians Formula. It is beautiful. I'm literally going to go in with my Tom Ford bronzer brush and just give it a couple swipes there and place this bronzer ever so lightly. Definitely using a fluffy brush over my contour, but not covering up my blush. Going back in, same thing, ever so lightly. I'm not buffing it or you're gonna mess up what we did underneath. So this is literally bronzing. You can be a little more free-handed with this. You don't have to be as precise as you were with your contour. And don't forget to picking up product. Brush it over with your forehead. Looks really good. We still look flawless and airbrushed. Now I'm going to go in with a powder blush. This is the, everyone knows of it, the Dior Rosy Glow blush in the shade pink. And boy, is it pink. You don't need a lot. A little goes a long way. It picks up really well. I'm going to tap off excess for sure. And once again, we're popping. Pop out that cheekbone. Do not forget. You want to know where you're placing things. Looks good, doesn't it? Looks good, doesn't it? I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but you can always do your nose too. And we're still looking very flawless, airbrush. Just, our skin looks really good. Follow these tips, I'm telling you. Just sit through the video, take your notes, and follow the tips, okay? You will not regret it. Okay, so obviously I just went off camera and did my brows. Another tip that I learned, like a trick slash tip, when you have done your brows, go ahead and take a setting powder. I picked up this random one. I'm going with a lighter one, and not this one just because I'm in the middle of my face. This one is from Kosas. This is a really good setting powder. It's the Feathery Cloud Set, and I'm literally picking up the powder and I'm going to pop some on top of my brow to set down the color. I mean, it's just like you would with any other makeup. It's makeup. You want to set it down. So that's a really, like, something so simple that I never even thought to do for some odd reason. I don't know. But you live and you learn. Thank you for that tip. Wherever I saw that, I can't remember. Anyways, base is complete. All you need to do now is take your favorite setting spray. I'm going to go in with the Glow Cocoa Hydrating Mist from Huda Beauty. Smells delish. Love it. And just spritz away. Make sure it dries down. The last, I guess, like little hack or tip that I'm going to share with you is when you're picking a setting spray, please make sure to pick up the tester in the store. Like, I highly recommend buying your setting spray in store, because if you don't pick it up and test it, if you don't have a good mister on that setting spray, I don't care how good the setting spray is, the mister can absolutely ruin your makeup. You'll have water splotches. Trust me, I have gotten to work, looked in the mirror, and been like, what is that? Like, literally spots where the setting spray, like, it just kind of squirted instead of misted onto my face, and like a water spot, and then it crusted over from where it had dried down, and then I had like circles that I was picking off of my, I'm telling you, it was pretty rough. I was so upset. And I'll go ahead and tell you, it was the Laura Mercier, the newest setting spray that they have. I will not repurchase that one. Like, no, done with it. All it took was that one time. Like, no, that I hadn't liked that, the way it sprayed from the beginning, but it's expensive, so I went ahead and continued to use it. And now it's like, thank gosh I was already at the bottom of the bottle because I'm done with it. So make sure, I know it sounds so silly, but make sure your setting spray, you test the squirter on it and make sure that it's a mister. Okay. Okay, gorgeous. That is it from me today. I hope you learned a thing or two, picked up a couple tips, a couple tricks. I literally topped off my lips with some lip liner lipstick, hit it in the middle, my favorite little go-to lip hack, and went in with my go-to eyeshadow palette from ColourPop. That's taupe. Love it, obsessed with it, 14 bucks, so many different looks, inexpensive. Mwah. Chef's kiss, it's the best. This is literally our finished look. I didn't go in with any lashes just because I'm gonna run errands today and I don't want to be like, where I live it's just not the thing to, no. So I'm just gonna go like this, and that's okay. You know, we still look good. Our skin looks flawless. Thank you so much for watching and hanging out with me until the end. Hope you learned a thing or two, and I will be seeing you in the next video. Bye.